Okay, time to talk about Twin Peaks The Return Part 9, and I guess from here on out I'll be covering the series on a episode by episode basis as opposed to doing 2 episodes per video because I was just getting too many thoughts jumbled. I think this will be the best way to move forward now that I've done the single episodes for the past couple of videos. I think that it works out better that way, so I just need to keep up with them basically and remember everything. So I just got finished watching episode 9. I loved episode 9, loved part 9. Great episode, 2 of the biggest laughs of the entire series for me, and also some just great story. After the craziness that was episode 8, we get to dive back into the story, the present day. We see Bad Cooper kind of coming back from the shit that happened to him in episode 8, and he meets up with a couple of people played by Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh, some pretty big name actors slipping into the Twin Peaks canon there, and they're kind of helping him sort things out, and he's put a hit out on the head of the warden, and also a couple of people in Las Vegas, which is coming later down the line. We see Cooper, Good Cooper, inside the police department over in Vegas, and they're kind of going over the fact, you know, with his boss, with Dougie's boss, you know, there's something a bit slow about him. We learn that Dougie had a car accident not long before he started working where he does, in the insurance company. So that kind of clues you in as to why Cooper's weird behavior isn't really causing that much concern with his wife, Janie E., if Dougie was a little bit slow to begin with. So the police have also discovered that there's no information on Dougie pre-1997, so that was obviously when Dougie was created for that purpose. And so obviously they want to take some prints and find out what's going on. They think it might be witness protection. We caught up with the little guy, Spike, no, not Spike, Ike the Spike I think his name was, so he got arrested. And then the Briggs storyline continued. We had a call put out to Gordon Cole with him, Tammy, Diane, and Albert in the jet, the FBI jet, and so they kind of make a detour to Buckhorn, Dakota. I don't appreciate the tone that you're taking with me. I don't appreciate the language, he said. Oh, Buckhorn. So they go down, they see the body of Garland Briggs, and find out that the character that Matthew Lillard was playing in the first episode he has a blog, and he was kind of researching an alternate dimension, and he apparently, to his word, entered this alternate dimension and spoke to the Major. And this is how kind of the woman that he was cheating on his wife with, Ruth Davenport, she got killed in this alternate dimension, and he saw, you know, Major Briggs kind of floating up, and he said it was beautiful. And so that scene where Matthew Lillard is breaking down in the interrogation room, I thought, again, fantastic performance. He really nailed that kind of when you're so upset that you're kind of hyperventilating and you're really scared. I felt that he was scared shitless. I could see people getting rubbed the wrong way by the performance because it's really like on top, and so it might really bug certain people. But I thought it was really well done by Matthew Lillard. He continues to impress me in this series, even though he's only been in it for a couple of episodes. Something going on with Diane. She's trying to get to her phone, and she got a text from Bad Cooper, which is interesting. Yes, we had that whole kind of first half of the episode really was kind of centered outside of Twin Peaks. Then we jump to Twin Peaks, and we get some completely kind of disparate scenes that don't really fit into the narrative of the story that's being told, but they're just great because they're Twin Peaks. You know, the kind of back and forth with Lucy and Andy was very sweet, and the scene with Jerry, who I forgot to mention in episode 7, was out in the woods, and he's high, he doesn't know what's going on, he's called Ben, but you know, he just doesn't know where he is, he thinks his car's been stolen. So episode 9, he's still in the woods, and he's just staring at his foot, and I won't go into what happened, but I mean, it just cracked me up. I thought I really laughed a lot in that scene, proper belly laughed. And the other time I did that was earlier on in the episode when they're going to see the body of Garland Briggs, and they're kind of summing up all the things that have happened, and like, this person got killed and this person went missing, and Albert's like, well, what happens in season 2? Which, proper, I was laughing for about 20 seconds, like that was just a brilliant line, delivered perfectly by Miguel Ferrer. Just, again, I love Albert, he's brilliant, you know, Gene Kelly, motherfucker. Definitely one of my favorite parts of the new series, and again, just like I've been saying, I love how the actors who've passed away and they played these iconic roles, their characters are still living on through the show. And you know, I only started watching Twin Peaks less than 2 months ago, and already Garland Briggs is like one of my favorite characters in, you know, probably in TV show history. And it is really weird because he's not really that big of a part of Twin Peaks, but well, he is and he isn't. I mean, you know, as far as screen time goes, at least. But he really made an impact on me, especially in the second season of Twin Peaks. I just loved this, and I won't go into it, like I can talk about it later on, but I just like how he's such a big part of this series, even though the actor's long since passed away, and is brought into it in an intriguing way where we find that he really was involved in a lot of weird stuff that, you know, wasn't even that apparent in the original series, I think. And when Hawk and the sheriff and Bobby turn up to see Betty Briggs, we get to see her again, and she says, well, Garland told me that, you know, the night before he died, that one day Bobby, Sheriff Truman, I didn't know it would be this Sheriff Truman, and Hawk would come and see me and ask about Special Agent Dale Cooper, and he told me to give you this at that moment. I never thought this day would come. Remind me of Back to the Future Part 2. Yeah, this crazy scientist with white hair and a kid comes asking about that book one day, you know. And then she pulls the thing out of the chair, and I really like Dana Ashbrook's performance as Bobby in this scene. And it seems like his character in every scene, major scene he's had in the new series, has been reacting to like a, you know, kind of reacting to being brought up the memory of one of his loved ones who passed away, Laura Palmer, his father, and so he has to kind of just react very emotionally. But he played it very differently with the scene where his mother is saying that, you know, your father always believed in you, and you know, believed that there was better in you and that you would get there one day. And he played it so perfectly and so subtly. I mean, the Laura Palmer thing, when he saw her picture, he's very visibly kind of upset by it. With this one, you can tell that he's moved and kind of stirred by it, but he kind of keeps it in. And I almost felt like it was because he had so much respect for his father that he kind of kept it in that moment. And when she's like, right, do you want coffee? And they're all like, oh yeah, sure, because the tension had been built up so much, and kind of, you know, Bobby kind of laughs it off, but you can tell he was quite kind of, again, shook by that little speech about the last night of his father being alive. And I just thought that was a brilliant scene and well played by him. And then they find the curled up message inside the tube. And that was really cool. And again, a link to the relationship between Bobby and his father, and kind of alluding to, you know, better days when they were often in a land of imagination, father and son. I thought it was a really sweet moment when he said that Jack Rabbit's Palace was a place that I named when I was a kid, and we used to go up there and stuff. And so that there's very much like the stars aligning and everything in the original series. There's only one point in time where you can get into the Black Lodge or whatever. There's something near this Jack Rabbit's Palace. You need to put soil in your pocket at this specific date at this specific time. So they're going to go off and do that. I can't wait to see what happens with that. And also the code from season 2, when he showed Cooper that this is the code we get from deep space, and there it says Cooper, 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 and so there's a very small sheet and it says Cooper twice, and Hawk goes, 2 Coopers, and I'm just like, oh. This is fucking awesome. Loved this episode so much. And there's probably more. We saw Johnny Horn running into a wall or something, and I'm assuming the voice of Sylvia Horn. Another scene between Beverly and Benjamin Horn in the Great Northern. So the suggestive kind of romantic tension between the two became a lot more overt in this episode, to say the least. And then we had a scene between these 2 junkies at the roadhouse at the end, and I'm intrigued to see if those characters go anywhere, because it wouldn't surprise me if they were just there for no, like, okay, let's just get 2 junkies and have one of them just scratch your armpit for a long time. That'll be the end. Like, I don't know, sometimes it does feel like they've thrown these things in there to kind of lengthen them out a little bit, particularly the scene when Hawk and the sheriff and Bobby, they go into the kind of sheriff's room or whatever in the sheriff's department to look at the tube, and then he's like, yeah, I know how to get into that, but we're going to have to go outside. So it just felt like such a pointless scene, but it does feel like it's padded, but I do enjoy the world and the characters, so I'm alright to kind of spend that extra time that the show is giving us in these episodes. Is there anything else? Again, even just watching the episode 10 minutes ago, I still feel like there's stuff I'm forgetting, but yeah, I really can't wait to keep moving on and eventually catching up to a point where I'll have to wait a week for every episode, which kind of sucks. But we're on the kind of home stretch. I think that, I guess I'm halfway through now, exactly halfway through actually. 9 episodes, 18. Yeah, so I'm halfway through the new series. So yeah, anything else? Let me just try and jog my memory if I've forgotten anything. I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it covered. Yeah, I can't wait to see where it keeps on going, and the pace is very slow. And Carl McLachlan was in this episode for, you know, some total of about 4 or 5 minutes, if that. And it really didn't feel it, you know. He is the star of the show, he is the focal point of this story, but a good job has been done of building all the other characters up, both old and new, I think. Although I do think that there's so many characters that sometimes I am thinking, huh, because with the Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh scene at the beginning, I was like, were they in one of the earlier episodes? I wasn't quite sure. I thought I would have noticed them if they had been, but you know, I wasn't 100% sure. That there's a lot of character. I mean, look at the cast list for the show. It's huge. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Leave me your thoughts down below on Part 9 if you have any thoughts on it in particular. And I'll see you with my review, my thoughts, my ramblings on Episode 10, Part 10 of Twin Peaks: The Return. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.